Hi there, Scorpio. Welcome to your April 2018 General Tarot reading. Hi, motorcyclists. It's Raina here. And so I'm just shuffling the cards. I'm going to be doing the Rider-Waite deck, and I'm going to be picking the Shadow card from the Wild Unknown Tarot. This is a deck that I think is right up Scorpio's alley. Let me just, for the fun of it, pick a card to show you. Yeah, that doesn't. It's a Four of Pentacles. It's not what I'm talking about. I would have to look at it to show you. That's kind of. I love the artistry, but that's kind of boring. It's just like they have so many Gothic images. Okay, here's one that's kind of like not grotesque or anything, but just kind of strange in an interesting way. But those colors are wonderful for the Temperance card. They seem very kind of darkly whimsical, and that's not really dark, but well, anyway, doing that. So let's do this. I was just thinking of you because I think you were the sign I was venting. I'm putting, this is one of my cards for the other deck that I'm just putting there. I just, you know, the comments sometimes are really things. You shouldn't be doing this. I just had somebody say you shouldn't be you shouldn't have mentioned sex. I think sometimes people are cross-watching and they want to think that their ex is miserable. And I probably said their ex was having sex and they're getting married, and that really like just sets people off. So let's see. And if you've watched me before, I'm not just talking about sex. I mean, if it was a card like the Empress or something, that might be what I was talking about. But gosh. Oh, I did it again. I didn't pick the Shadow card. I'm going to pick an extra one for the Shadow position just because, you know, we always have things that we're dealing with. Oh, this is great. I picked your card. This was the card I was looking for, because now this is a Gothic kind of card. I'm glad I got this one. So I'll be putting that down. And I kind of know, I kind of got like a feeling about that one. Okay, let me just continue with this portion of the reading. And the outcome card is, yay, that's a nice card. Okay, just give me 1 second. I'm just going to collect all these stray cards here. Oh, that's so wonderful. I couldn't remember which was the card from that deck that looked so, you know, hideous, you know, and what they were trying to convey here. So the overall theme is the Two of Wands. So I was just reading about the Two of Wands. You know, I always try to get other perspectives on these cards. Well, I don't know if I can remember what they were saying, because I'm always like the Two of Wands and the Three of Wands seems kind of similar. Actually, I think that with the Two of Wands, it can be a decision that you have to make that relates to, personally, I would say it's your well-being as a whole, because the Wands relate to fire energy, and it's that vitality that makes you get up in the morning. You know, if I had a card with the Two of Pentacles, it might be deciding between two different jobs. But this may be even more of an expansive thing. You see the person holding the globe. That sometimes this can be, should I stay here or should I move? And not really knowing, not being at that stage yet. There may be, if this is like an issue about relocating, and maybe it is for work, but you don't know if you really are going to like living someplace else. You may have ambivalence. You may have like this part of you that wants to stay where you are because you have family, or you like the area, and then you want your career to expand. sometimes with wands, you have your own business and you're trying to chart, trying to go, I can't say this, but enter into new territory. I can't think of the phrase, but you know what I mean. And you want to expand it. And so you may be contemplating living abroad and introducing your product or your service to people in other countries. Or you think there's like a special niche market that would really, work well for whatever it is that you're about. But again, you may have issues surrounding this. If this is a personal relationship, it could be somebody who's a fire sign, and it could be some kind of a situation too where if you're married, because we do have the Justice card down here, where you're married and yet you're not sure that you want to stay married, like you're at a crossroads for some reason. I do get to also the Two of Swords. Maybe the other person is an air sign like Libra. Libra is the Justice card, so that could be also what's going on. You choosing between a fire sign and an air sign like Libra. I mean, that might be what's going on. The other air signs are Gemini and Aquarius. I did get Aquarius as the outcome card. Maybe that's an Aquarius person that you decide to gravitate towards. But the fire signs are Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And in terms of career, it could be entrepreneurship, as I said, but maybe it's even choice of careers. Maybe you're saying, I don't know if I really want to stay doing what I'm doing. And you're kind of like looking at the bigger picture, with the world in your hands, saying, what is it that yes, maybe this job is something I know inside out, or maybe it pays well or something, but I just have this feeling I'm meant to do something else. So what's the challenge cards are represented by the World card, which can be something to do with traveling, that you're resistant to traveling. Fixed sign, Scorpio, so you may be like somebody who likes the familiarity of where you live, and you may feel like if you go to a certain country, you won't be able to have the same things that you're used to buying, even the same foods or the same products. It could even be down to that level. The World card is, as a challenge position card, is also about not being able to tie up loose ends for some reason. It's the last card of the major arcana, so it's all about everything kind of closing so you can start anew. But maybe there are some things that are still pending. Like maybe, yeah, because we have the Justice card here. Maybe you're in the process of getting divorced and you'd like to get into a new relationship, but the other person is married. Or the other person doesn't want to date you until he or she knows that you really are divorced, or you don't want to do so until you're divorced. So it could be something like that. We have, along with it, the Death card. And this is your card. You connect to this card. You rule the 8th house, and one of the keywords of the 8th house is death. But in this particular position and context, it would be that you have trouble letting go of a situation. Maybe you know that your marriage is over with, and even if you're in the process of getting divorced, you still are having a hard time with it, having a hard time like even, let's say your partner cheated on you, your spouse, and that was the final straw and you initiated the divorce. You might still have feelings for that person, or you may still have feelings of the betrayal of it. And you just can't, it's like you can't find a way to navigate that sense of loss. The root cause of all of this is the Justice card. So it could be that that the legal case is already resolved, and perhaps you have been feeling this sense of like, I still can't move on. And it can also be that a Libra person, or somebody with a Libra signature to them, may have been kind of the one that was the catalyst for you even wanting to change. So maybe they're the ones that you are interested in. I think, you know, it's funny. This could be like 2 air signs even. But whatever's happening, it could be too something along the lines, like with business matters, of really wanting to feel like you're treated fairly. So with the 2 of Wands, you may be like, oh God, you know, I really want to strike out on my own, but I just can't seem to get that sense of confidence to do so. But something is compelling you to do it, and that's the Justice card. It's like you feel like totally taken advantage of, or just, you know, not respected, not valued where you are. And so you know something's got to give. You know it's over, but you just can't make it happen at this point. But it's like these are all things that may be going on in your head. It doesn't mean that that's how it's going to end up. The spiritual message is the Knight of Swords. If this is a person, boy, is this really turning out to be like, if this is a love reading type of a thing, for, you know, instead of just like a career situation. The Knight of Swords is a person who is very passionate. You may have that sense of connection with them. It would be like either a Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra. And this person, you may have something in common. Maybe you belong to a certain activist group, or, you know, whatever, book, you know, club or something, because they are mental. Maybe in more ways than one. This is my brain without coffee, caffeine. Any questions? So this kind of person can be very stimulating intellectually for you, and you may feel that you have something in common that is helping others, that you are an advocate for somebody, for a group that needs a voice or something like that. But this person, in their private life, they have this tendency, because this also has fire energy it's attached to it. The Knight has that passionate, so that's kind of connected to the fire. So maybe they have fire and air. And they may be the kind of person who really has trouble with commitment because they want their freedom, you know. Both of those elements want their freedom. Scorpio wants somebody to be under lock and key, who really, and I mean that in a positive way. I don't mean, you know, but it can get like the other part, you know, if the person isn't evolved, if the Scorpio is not evolved, they will be very possessive, and they will have a sense of entitlement that that person act a certain way. The higher expression of Scorpio is going to be somebody who loves very deeply. But the lower expression, it's more of the ego interfering and making the person overly suspicious, because their partner becomes a commodity, becomes somebody who is just there for you to feel secure or whatever. And I'm not talking to probably most of you, but you know what I'm saying. Just somebody like an object almost. And then they have to protect that object to make sure that that object isn't coveted by somebody else. And when you're really in a higher vibration, you're not looking at people that way. It doesn't mean you don't ever feel a twinge of jealousy or something like that, but you're convinced, if you really believe that somebody is into you, you're not going to be checking up on them and things like that. So the Knight of Swords can trigger that in the best of a Scorpio, where they really are hard to pin down. Maybe try to call them and they're just not available. And they may even be like from a different town, and they come into town and they turn your world upside down and then they leave again. You know, if you look at this picture that Pamela Coleman Smith drew, it's like perfect, because this is like this person that has this cause and this drive, and they really are, what is that on his foot? I can't figure that out. They're really like consumed with their opinions and their passions, but they don't necessarily have staying power when it comes to relationships, because they just have varied interests, and they may not want to just settle down in that way. And the advice, or well, actually this might be what's coming in for you, is that it's like decision time, make or break the situation. But you see the person has a blindfold. So there's a sense of, I think that's supposed to be a woman with a gown. You can see that the woman is kind of maybe in denial. So this could be you, that you are in April, you may spend a lot of April feeling like, oh, I want to start anew, but I don't know how. I feel like I'm spinning my wheels. I have all these irons in the fire. I may have a new job offer or 2 new job offers. Maybe I have 2 relationships that I'm trying to decide between. Or when I said 2 job offers, maybe you have 2 different places of employment that you could work at, and you just can't decide. And the thing is, you have to take off the blinders in order to see what's the truth is of the situation. You may be propping up something that is not serving you. Again, with the Death card, you know, clinging to the past, perhaps. Clinging to like a time when maybe things were a lot better, but it's not there now. And I was going to say something else, but I forgot. Oh, well, I'll tell you in a second. The outcome, isn't that a beautiful illustration? I love this one. The star card is the outcome, and this is a great way to end the reading, because something can give you this sense of renewal and healing. And, you know, with the star, it could even be a sign from above that kind of like lets you know, okay, this is how I need to proceed. And if anyone can find these signs, it will be a Scorpio person, because you're very intuitive naturally. And you would do something like that, which is to look for signs in order to make your decision. Again, this card is associated with Aquarius. So that might be somebody that you choose to bring into your life in a more intimate way. It's a card of hopefulness, a card of faith restored. Maybe you've been through a lot with a former partner, and you just feel like, again, you know, being a Scorpio, a little bit lacking in trust and feeling that you're afraid that somebody's going to do that to you again. And the more fearless you can become, and the more you can believe that, you know what, no one can ever cheat on me who really is meant to be with me. Because that's just not how it works. And I know some people probably dispute that, but if you just say something along those lines, that what's mine is mine, you know, a relationship that is supposed to be for me, I won't have to do like tons of work on it, try to, you know, call this person all the time, like, you know, calling this Knight of Swords person, and you get a voicemail, you get, try to text them, you get nothing. They ghost you on a regular basis, you know, that kind of thing that is not satisfying, you know. All of us want relationships where we can count on the other person to consistently give us attention and care about us. I think that's what most people want, but they settle for less. They go chasing the Knight of Swords type of people who are like Quicksilver. They're hard to pin down. And then they're unsatisfied by it. And they're like, I have to choose, but they can't because they're afraid. It's a thing. It happens. What I wanted to tell you is that on April 29th, there will be a full moon in your sign, Scorpio. So this death, let's look at this card again. It's so strange and funny. This may be you finally tying up those loose ends and turning your back on a former way that you have been in the hopes of something much better. Okay, Scorpio, I hope you enjoyed this, and this is the kind of reading that I do. I like to, make it deep. And some people like that style, some people don't, and it's beautiful that we all have different preferences. So if this is something that is appealing to you, and you like that kind of a reading, please click on the link below. The private reading, obviously, I'm talking about. Otherwise, have an awesome April. Bye.